Hello, I'm Yammie Noob. Today's video is the 9 things every motorcyclist thinks. Let's do it. Number 1, don't stall, drop it, or fuck up. Nothing says, I think you're good looking, I'm checking you out, and I want to impress you like stalling your bike, dropping it, or just plain fucking it up. As a beginner, you should always be focused on your bike and what you're doing. I get it, you might let the pretty girl cross the street and stall your bike 3 or 4 times, it happens. Don't try popping dank nooners to impress people when you've only done it once. But if you're ever in the Austin area and you see a wonderful, bald, beautiful man wearing short shorts and clear framed glasses and a hat, well, I wouldn't blame you for stalling your bike either. I mean, look at me. I'm a vision. Even when riding in front of friends and family for the first time, hey mom, look at my bike, things can get a little nerve-wracking and we think to ourselves, don't F this up. The thoughts of not messing things up probably works just like the absolute value in math. If we keep thinking about what we don't want to do, we'll end up doing it anyways. I mean, it's no different than target fixating. If you're worried about not hitting something, don't stare at it. If you find yourself in a position where you keep thinking about how bad you want to keep your bike up, just relax and breathe. Go over how the bike functions and remind yourself how to do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Proper throttle control will save your life and your dignity in these types of situations. Remember your training, young Padawan. You've got this, you adorable little cutie pie. Number 2, why won't you wave back? For the newbie riding in the streets, one of the best and probably most satisfying feelings is receiving the rider's wave. If you haven't experienced it yet, you will. It is your unofficial initiation into the world of motorcycling. The best part? The other rider doesn't know they took your wave virginity. Seriously, they're just going to assume you're an experienced rider and think nothing of it because they chucked you a wave. But what about when they don't wave back? This could be one of the most frustrating thoughts during your ride. Were they clutching in? Were they not looking at me? Why didn't they wave back? Whatever the actual reason is for the other rider to not wave to you, don't sweat it. They could have simply not seen you, or they simply didn't care to wave at you. Just keep your head up and ride on. Someone else will wave to you soon enough. I can attest myself to the feeling I had when I experienced my first wave. It was a dude on a red CBR 600RR who chucked me the wave. It was my very first time out on the road, and I felt like I belonged to a really cool new club. Few things in life can beat a feeling quite like that. Number 3, exaggerating close calls. It's going to be an inevitable situation. You'll be out riding and a car will pull out in front of you and keep on driving. They're not going to see you. When you honk, they won't look. When you ride past them, they still won't care. Something we think about as riders is how close to us were they really? We tend to exaggerate things in our minds, and then we get frustrated and even angry at times. If you're still alive and your bike is in one piece, consider it a good ride. Not everyone is going to see you, not everyone's going to give you the space you need, but as long as you can ride home safely, then it's all good. There's going to be times when you're sitting in a stoplight and the car behind you will be almost close enough to touch. Other times you'll get a tailgater that won't just back off. These are common occurrences, but how many are as close as you really think they are? The most extreme example of this are dudes on YouTube who post up a motovlog of a really normal interaction they had with traffic, where someone maybe cut them off or forgot to signal to lane change, and now it's the end of the world and we need to talk about it and make a cringe-worthy vlog about it. Number 4, I could make it. Something that I'm sure everybody thinks about while riding is, I could probably fit that spot or make that split for those that don't live in lane splitting friendly areas. As a new or a veteran rider, the idea of lane splitting, or in some cases illegally passing cars, is enthralling. Could I make it? Would I have to turn my mirrors in? What if they rode closer, farther? For those of you that don't lane split but think about it a lot, congratulations, you now have the itch. There will be a time when you're just riding and the 2 cars in front of you will be hugging the outside of their lanes. You'll look at your bike and then at the gap, back down at your bike, and then see yourself go between the 2 cars. You emerge victorious and alive. You've lane split for the first time. If you live anywhere outside of California, you might get honked at, tailgated, or threatened even in some manner. By all means, if you feel it necessary, drop a gear and disappear, because remember, you're probably a little bit quicker than they are. If you don't think you can do it, then don't. I am not advocating that you perform any illegal maneuvers on your motorcycle, just that if lane splitting scares you, maybe filtering at short distances could build your confidence up. Number 5, I want to show off. It doesn't matter if you're on a standard, sumo, sport bike, cruiser, or any other kind of bike, you're going to think about it and feel the urge to show off. If you have a nice, new, loud exhaust, you're going to want to rev it every chance there is. If you see a tunnel, boom, it's the sound of my people. Welcome, hello. It's an itch that must be scratched. When you've learned how to wheelie, and I mean really learn how to effortlessly turn your bike into a unicycle, you're going to want to pop dank nooners all day long. Will it happen? Who knows? Things such as police presence, heavy traffic, pedestrians, weather, and off-road conditions are going to be indicators as to whether you show off or not. There's going to be times when you really want to do it, but the divine spirit of Rossi will hold you back. As he does, a cop will appear, and you'll be happy you're still riding and feeling blessed you didn't do anything to mess it up. Thank Rossi. Sometimes we'll want to show off but can't, and in this case you're probably working on your wheelies behind abandoned buildings at night and trying to get your front wheel up, even if it's only an inch or so, like your sweet Papa Yam, who is really bad at wheelies. Keep at it and someday you'll rip a dank nooner in front of a crowd of people, at least that's my hope. Now, speaking of showing off, there's nothing quite as good as getting a brand spanking new motorcycle. Nothing is as hard of a flex as rolling around on a brand spanking new bike. And I'll have you know that your sweet Papa Yam cares very much about you, and I want to show you the light, and that's why I'm giving away some free motorcycles. I gotta bring this up because I don't want you to miss out, and maybe it's your first time checking out my videos. I've got a brand spanking new Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650 waiting to be given away later in October, and all you gotta do is hit the links below to find out how you can get entered to win by supporting the series, getting some merch, or simply entering completely for free. Hit those links and don't let Papa down. Seriously, brand new R3, Suzuki SV650. You're gonna wanna check it out. Now moving on. Number 6, am I gonna get pulled over? The biggest fear and thought new riders will have is, am I gonna get pulled over? This will actually allow me to discuss a very important thing about motorcycles because of the ECE regulations in Europe. Speedometers are allowed to be up to 10% off and read higher, but never lower. As a new rider, you might zip past a cop at a 70 and a 55 and freak out. If you didn't fix or calibrate your speedometer, you're probably being clocked at about 63 or 64, which is only 8 over the limit for speeding. Now for speeding, the inaccuracies of the speedometer definitely helps those with a tendency to speed a little bit. There are devices that can fix your speedometer and allow you to calibrate it to a specific percentage. If you question whether your speedometer is off or not, try riding with your GPS on. For everything else, we kind of know when we're going to get pulled over. It might be a bike that's questionable in regard to its legality, the look of a supermoto, a light is out, etc., or we blatantly did something wrong, such as sped really fast, popped a wheelie, or gave the bird to someone in front of the cop. Number 7, and I hate to say it, Gucci Sploochy. If it's any warmer than 70 degrees, you're probably thinking of the old gooch juice when you're out riding. Now, this is completely normal. I think everyone has an opinion about their body's comfort on the bike, especially sweat, because it can be so prominent in the summer months. We as riders will don gear that'll survive a blizzard, ride on an oven, and then sit in traffic in triple-digit temperatures. If you've ever stood up on your pegs or over a bump at higher speeds, you may have noticed a cooling effect on your lower extremities. Now, it's perfectly okay to cool off your bits and pieces down there. Cagers won't understand how far a little breeze goes for comfort, and they're probably going to stare at you a little funny for standing up. And in my case, when I'm on the desert sled, they think I'm trying to be some ADV bros about to hit some sweet trails, but really, I'm just trying to cool off. There's nothing wrong with riding on your back pegs to continue the cooling effect either, but make sure to ride normally. Number 8, we want to squid. Have you been in full racing leathers on a hot day? Seeing a squid on its R1 cruise by at 90 miles per hour in just a t-shirt and jeans make those of us in the ATGAT brigade cry on the inside, if only for a little bit. There's a definite trade-off in the motorcycling world between comfort and safety. Finding the balance will be difficult to achieve, and it's all down to your own personal risk assessment. Squidding is probably inevitable at some point. How hard you squid is going to be up to you. I always suggest wearing as much protection as possible, but in the heat, I can understand why a t-shirt will seem just okay. It's going to save you from heat exhaustion and all kinds of stuff. When it comes to armor, if you really enjoy the squid life, you can buy chest and back protection and wear elbow pads. If you don't stunt, people will think you do when you're wearing that, so be wary of who sees you in such attire. For the rest of us, we might just think about squidding and not actually do it. I'm guilty of it from time to time, but never do I ride in short shorts and flip-flops. Number 9, we secretly just want to ride. I think the last thing we all think about as riders is that we just want to ride. Being asked questions about coworkers, pedestrians, family members, etc. can sometimes be overwhelming or even annoying. Let's face it, we're in the age of the internet. It's sometimes difficult for us to have conversations about our motorcycles, especially when we just started riding. Your uncle might ask you about advanced riding techniques he learned in the late 80s, or someone will want to talk to you against your will about their late 90s GSX-R S-Rad and how fast it was. Being stopped at a gas station and having to listen to someone else's riding stories while in full gear is probably one of the worst things that can happen. Maybe the worst is sitting at a restaurant with your helmet on the table and have someone ask if the only bike outside is yours. No, it's not. I only just wear a helmet when I walk to this restaurant. We just all want to ride. We do it because it gives us comfort in our solitude. We like to ride, keep to our thoughts, and focus on the upcoming road. Also, if you ever just see a motorcyclist gazing off into the distance, you can probably bet your bottom dollar that he is thinking about what kind of riding he's going to get down on this weekend. Now, that's gonna wrap up things for today, my dudes. I want you to know that I do take y'all's feedback seriously, and I hope our new quick intro is what you're looking for. If you liked the vid, make sure to smash the like button and share it with a friend. Showing a friend this funny YouTube video of this strange bald man is one of the best ways to show that you share your love with me. And as always, be sure to check out the links to our giveaway bikes. Legend has it that later in October, we'll be starting up our triple bike giveaway, and you won't want to miss that. If you sign up now, you can get started in our voting process to determine which of those bikes we will be picking. It's going to be pretty awesome. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Fact: your heart beats over 100,000 times per day. It's working hard. Goodbye.